If you only do what's easy, life gets harder. But if you choose to do what's hard, life gets easier. That's not just a quote. It's a law of life. Think about it. Your brain was designed to keep you safe. It avoids pain. It avoids discomfort. It wants you comfortable, relaxed, unchanged. That's why you stay in bed when the alarm rings. That's why you put off the workout. That's why you keep waiting for the perfect time that never comes. The real enemy is not outside. It's inside your own head. Your brain will always try to negotiate. Do it later. Rest a little more. You're not ready yet. And every time you listen, you train your mind to stay weak. But here's the truth. You are not weak. You are not broken. You just haven't learned how to lead your mind yet. Today. That changes. Today. I'm going to show you how to force your brain to act, not tomorrow, not when you feel like it. No. You learn how to shut down hesitation, how to move before doubt grows, how to build discipline even when you have zero motivation. This is not about hype. This is about control. Control over your actions. Control over your future. From this moment on, no more waiting. No more excuses. You decide. You move. You lead. That's how your transformation begins. Your brain is not the boss. It only acts like one because you let it. It whispers. It negotiates. Do it later. Wait until you feel ready. You're too tired today. And most people obey. They treat that voice like truth. But here's the reality. That voice is not truth. It's just a signal. A signal that your brain wants safety more than progress. A signal that it would rather keep you comfortable than make you strong. If you keep asking your brain for permission, it will almost always say no. No to the workout. No to the phone call. No to the new habit. And every no makes you weaker. Every delay makes you doubt yourself a little more. That is why you must learn to take command. Stop asking. Start telling. Not do I feel like doing this, but I'm doing this. Period. Think about it like a parent and a child. If the child says, I don't want to do homework, and the parent says, okay, maybe later, what happens? The child learns that complaining works, that excuses win. That's exactly how most people treat their brain. They negotiate with excuses. And excuses always win that game. The shift happens when you stop negotiating, when you tell your brain what's going to happen. And you follow through. No debate. No vote. I said, I'm getting up now. I said, I'm starting the project. I said, I'm finishing this workout. The first time you do this, it feels strange. You'll hear the old voice scream. You're too tired. Do it later. You don't have to. But if you act anyway, something incredible happens. You realize that you don't need to feel ready to move. You realize that feelings are not commands. They're suggestions, and you don't have to follow them. Every time you act without permission, you build strength. You prove to yourself, I decide, not my moods. This is the discipline of decision. Discipline does not begin with motivation. It begins with leadership. Leadership over yourself. Most people wait for a spark of motivation. They wait to feel inspired, but waiting never works. Motivation shows up after action, not before. Think about your mornings. You roll in bed, debating with yourself. 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You don't feel like moving, but the moment you put your feet on the floor, everything changes. Energy comes after motion. That's why your first command is simple. Act before you feel like it. Tell your brain we're doing this now. Not maybe, not later. Now. And the more you practice this, the easier it gets, because your brain learns. It adapts. At first it resists, but over time, it stops fighting and starts following. Imagine a wild horse. At first it bucks, resists, refuses. But if you hold steady, the horse learns to trust you. Your brain is the same. If you let it lead, it runs wild. But if you hold the reins, it falls in line. This is the secret to forcing your brain to do hard things, not through endless willpower, not through waiting for motivation, but through decision, strong, non-negotiable decision. From now on, I want you to practice this rule. No more asking, no more waiting. You command, and then you move. Start small. Set the alarm. And when it rings, get up. No delay. No snooze. Say it out loud if you need to. I'm up. Let's go. Pick a task you've been avoiding. Don't ask yourself if you're in the mood. Just start the first 5 minutes. 5 minutes is all you need to break resistance. Once you start, momentum builds. And every time you do this, you are teaching your brain a new rule. I lead. You follow. That's how discipline is built. That's how confidence grows. That's how you start to respect yourself again. So stop waiting to feel ready. Stop asking your brain for permission. Take command. Decide. Move. Lead. Your brain will catch up. And you'll discover that hard things are not impossible. They're just waiting for your decision. Hesitation is the enemy. It never screams. It whispers, wait a minute. Do it later. You got time. That tiny pause feels harmless. But it's not. It's a trap. The moment you wait, you lose momentum. The moment you delay, your brain grows stronger in resistance. Every second of hesitation makes the task look heavier. You start to think. You start to doubt. You stack excuses. I'm too tired. I don't know enough. This isn't the right time. And before you know it, the moment passes. Another day wasted. Another chance gone. You felt this before. You planned to go to the gym, but you sat on the couch for 5 minutes. That 5 minutes became an hour, and the workout never happened. Or you meant to make that call, but you told yourself, I'll do it after lunch. After lunch, you pushed it again. By the end of the day, the chance was gone. That is the cost of hesitation. It steals opportunities. It drains confidence. It builds the habit of delay. The truth is simple. The longer you wait, the harder it gets. That's why you need a new rule. When your mind says wait, you move. Immediately. No debate. No delay. Stand up. Start the task. Do the first step right now. This is how you break hesitation. By acting in the very moment it appears. At first, it feels uncomfortable. Your brain resists. It says, hold on, don't rush. Think it through. But that's just fear hiding as logic. It's not wisdom. It's weakness. Think about it. The hardest part of going to the gym is not the workout. It's putting on your shoes. The hardest part of writing is not the full page. It's typing the first sentence. The hardest part of calling someone is not the conversation, it's pressing dial. Once you start, everything gets easier. Momentum kicks in. Energy follows. But you only reach that point if you move fast, action first, feelings later. That is the formula. Winners live by this rule. They don't tolerate delay. They don't give hesitation a seat at the table. They act, and then they adjust. And the more you repeat this, the stronger you get, because your brain learns from patterns. If you act fast, your brain learns. This is who we are. We move. If you hesitate, your brain learns. This is who we are. We wait. You become what you practice. Every moment of hesitation is practice. Every fast action is practice. And the one you repeat most becomes your identity. That's why you must train speed. Train yourself to act before excuses appear. Try this right now. Think of one small task you've been delaying. Maybe it's sending a message. Maybe it's picking up something off the floor. Maybe it's drinking a glass of water. Do it now. Don't pause. Don't think. Just move. Feel what happens. The resistance shrinks. The weight lifts. You feel a spark of control. That's the power of immediate action. Now imagine applying this rule to bigger goals, the business you want to start, the book you want to write, the body you want to build. Each of them begins with one action. Not next week, not later today. Now, this is the difference between people who win and people who stay stuck. Not talent, not luck. It's the speed of action, the ability to move before the mind talks them out of it. Most people lose in the first 5 seconds. They pause. They overthink. They let hesitation grow into a story, and that story keeps them small, but not you. From today, and you play by a different rule. The moment your brain says, wait, you act. You get up when the alarm rings. You pick up the phone when it's time. You open the laptop when you said you would. Not later. Not when you feel ready. No. And each time you do this, you carve a new identity. You become someone who does not delay. Someone who respects their own time. Someone who moves fast and moves strong. That identity will carry you further than motivation ever could. Because motivation fades, but identity sticks, so train it, repeat it, live it, from this day forward. Your new standard is simple. When your brain whispers, wait, you stand up, you act, you move. And that's how hesitation loses power. That's how momentum is built. That's how your life begins to change. Weakness doesn't come from lack of talent. It comes from indecision every time you make a choice. Then second guess it. You lose power. Every time you reopen the door, hesitation walks back in. Strong people don't do that. They decide once, then they close the door behind them. Now, more debate. Think about the strongest people you admire. Atletes, leaders, entrepreneurs. They don't waste energy asking themselves the same question 100 times. They make the call, they act, they move forward, but most people, they decide and then they reopen it. Maybe I'll start tomorrow. Maybe this plan isn't right. Maybe I should wait. And that constant reopening destroys momentum. Here's the truth. Your brain loves exits. It searches for back doors. It wants escape routes because escape feels safe. But escape kills progress. If you want real discipline, you must remove the back doors. You decide once and you lock it in. No renegotiation, no second opinion. When you commit, period. Let's make this real. You decide to work out today. Your brain whispers, but you're tired. Maybe tomorrow. Stop. You already decided. There is no vote. You get up and you go. You decide to write 1 page tonight. Your brain says, it's late. You can do it later. Stop. The decision was already made. Sit down, write, finish. That is how you build trust with yourself. Not by waiting for the mood, but by treating your word as law every time you close the door on doubt. You send a signal to yourself. I trust me. I follow through. And that trust grows. Confidence is not built from compliments. It's built from completion, from proving to yourself again and again that your choices are final. Most people don't trust themselves because they keep breaking their own word. They say yes in the morning, then no at night. They commit on Monday, then quit on Wednesday. They keep renegotiating, and every time they do, their identity weakens. You cannot build strength on shaky ground. You need solid decisions. Yes. Emotions will shift. Yes. Energy will rise and fall. But your decisions must stand steady. That's what commitment means. Not doing it when it's easy. Not doing it when it feels exciting. Doing it every time. Because the choice has already been made. Think about building a house. You lay the foundation once. You don't keep ripping it up every week to check if it's good enough. If you did, the house would never stand. That's how most people live, with no foundation. Always questioning, always doubting. But not you. From now on, your decisions are foundations. You lay them, you stand on them, you build on them. So here's your practice. Make one small decision today. Decide when you'll wake up tomorrow. Choose the time. And when the alarm rings, you get up. No renegotiation. No debate. Just follow through. Then expand. Decide your workout schedule. Decide your study block. Decide the one task you'll finish before bed. And when the time comes, you don't ask yourself again. You act. This is how discipline grows. Through repetition, through finality, through the power of non-negotiable decisions. At first, it feels tough. Your brain will fight. It will send new excuses, louder than before. But every time you shut the door, the excuses weaken. They stop working, and you grow stronger. Remember this, indecision drains energy. Finality creates energy. When you remove the back and forth, you save power. You direct that power into action. That's why decisive people seem unstoppable. They're not wasting hours debating with themselves. They've already chosen. That's your new identity. A person who decides fast, a person who follows through, a person who never reopens closed doors. Say it with me. I decide once. I don't reopen. I follow through. That is your standard now. That is how you lead yourself. That is how you force your brain to respect you. Decide. Lock it in. Move. And never look back. Most people think resistance is a stop sign. They feel pressure. They feel fear. And they back away. But resistance is not a wall. It's a signal that you're standing on the edge of growth. Every great breakthrough in history started with resistance. The athlete pushing through fatigue, the writer battling the blank page, the entrepreneur facing doubt and setbacks, they all felt resistance, and they all walked straight into it. Here's the truth. Resistance is proof that you're moving in the right direction. Comfort never built greatness. Ease never created champions. When you feel resistance, it means you've found the doorway, and your only job is to walk through it. But most people don't. They wait for resistance to disappear. They wait until it feels easy, but it never feels easy. The voice of resistance always whispers, "Stay in bed. Skip the call. Don't risk it." And if you obey, that whisper becomes your master. So what do? Instead? You move while resistance is still loud. You act while fear is still present. You take the step, even with shaky legs. That's where confidence comes from. Not from waiting for fear to vanish, but from acting while fear still breathes down your neck. Think of the gym. The hardest part is not the weights. It's showing up when you don't want to. Think of a speech. The hardest part is not the words. It's opening your mouth when your voice is shaking. Think of a business. The hardest part is not the strategy. It's making the first uncomfortable move. Resistance shows up because something meaningful is on the other side. That's why you must walk into it. Not tomorrow, not later. Now, the first step will feel heavy, but as soon as you move, the weight begins to break. The fear shrinks. The excuses lose their power. You realize it wasn't as bad as your mind made it. That is the secret your brain doesn't want you to know. Resistance looks big, but it's hollow. Every time you step into resistance, you prove something to yourself. You prove that you're stronger than your emotions. You prove that you can act without perfect conditions. You prove that fear is not the master. It's the test. And when you pass the test, you grow. You grow courage. You grow confidence. You grow discipline. This is why you must reframe resistance. Stop seeing it as danger. Start seeing it as direction. The more resistance you feel, the more important the action probably is. That conversation you're avoiding, that's the one that matters. That workout you want to skip, that's the one that builds you. That task you keep delaying, that's the one that changes your future. So lean in, step forward, walk directly into resistance. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to be willing to act even when it's uncomfortable. Willing to push even when your body says stop. Willing to hold the line even when your emotions beg for comfort. That willingness is rare, but it is the birthplace of mastery. Every time you choose resistance over retreat, you reshape your identity. You stop being the person who avoids. You become the person who confronts, and that shift changes everything. You start to walk differently. You speak with more conviction. You carry yourself with quiet confidence, because you know resistance doesn't control you anymore. You control you. From now on, I want you to practice this mindset. When resistance shows up, smile. See it for what it is. Proof you're growing. Then act. Do the thing. Make the move. Don't wait for perfect timing. Don't wait for easy feelings. They're not coming. What's coming is growth, and it's waiting on the other side of resistance. So stop running from it. Stop hiding from it. Start walking into it. Every step through resistance is a step into strength. Every time you move forward, You silence the old voice. Every time you act, you claim more of the life you were meant to live, and that is how transformation begins. Not by avoiding the hard path, but by walking into it, head high, heart strong, and unshakable. Focus is not something you find once and keep forever. Focus is a muscle, and like every muscle, it drifts, it weakens, it gets tired. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck is not perfect focus. It's the ability to pull focus back again and again. Most people lose focus and stay lost. They get distracted. They check their phone. They scroll. They wander. They drift. And then an hour disappears. A whole day disappears. But discipline is not about never drifting. Discipline is about noticing the drift and snapping back fast. That is the skill you must build. The skill of return. Imagine this, you're writing, and suddenly you find yourself scrolling. Or you're in the gym, and suddenly you're staring at your phone. Or you're working on a goal, and suddenly you're lost in thought. In that moment, you have a choice: stay lost or come back. Weak minds stay lost. Strong minds return. That return is where power lives. Because every time you bring your focus back, you're proving something. You're proving that distraction does not own you. You're proving that your attention is under your control. And over time, that proof becomes identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone easily pulled away. You start seeing yourself as someone who always comes back. This shift is everything. Most people think they need perfect focus to succeed. That's false. What they need is resilience. The resilience to reset, the resilience to return. Think about a plane. A plane never flies in a perfectly straight line. It drifts, it corrects, it drifts again, it corrects again. Thousands of small corrections, yet it still arrives at the exact destination. Your mind works the same. You drift, you return. You drift, you return. And if you return enough times, you still hit the goal. The danger is not drifting. The danger is forgetting to return. So build the habit the moment you notice your mind has wandered. Don't judge yourself. Don't waste time in guilt. Just come back immediately. That decision, made again and again, builds mental muscle. Every return is a rep. Every rep makes you stronger. Every rep builds trust in yourself. Now let's make it practical. You sit down to work. 10 minutes later, you catch yourself on social media. Don't waste another 10 beating yourself up. Smile. Close it. Come back. That's one rep. You're at the gym. Your phone buzzes. You pause too long. Notice it. Put it down. Get back to the set. That's one rep. You're in a conversation, and your mind drifts. Notice it. Refocus on the person in front of you. That's one rep. Every rep counts. Every rep compounds. Soon, you'll realize something powerful. Your ability to return grows faster than your ability to drift. The distractions stay, but they don't hold you as long. The noise stays. But you snap back quicker. That is how focus is built. Not in perfection, but in persistence. Here's what I want you to remember. Distraction is normal. Staying distracted is optional. The average person wastes hours lost in drift. The disciplined person wastes seconds, maybe minutes, before coming back. That gap is the difference between mediocrity and mastery. So train yourself. Pay attention to your attention. Notice the drift, and the moment you notice, return. Not later. Not after one more scroll. No, that return is the most important moment of your day, because it's proof that you control your mind, not the other way around. And here's the best part. Every time you return, you're not just getting back on track. You're teaching your brain a new identity. I am someone who always comes back. That identity is unshakable because it doesn't require perfection. It only requires persistence. So stop chasing flawless focus. Stop expecting your mind to never wander. That's not strength, that's fantasy. Real strength is this: drift, notice, return, again and again, for as long as it takes. That's how progress is made. That's how success is built. Not in one perfect moment of focus, but in 1,000 messy moments where you chose to return. So the next time your mind drifts, don't fight it. Don't fear it. Just catch it and come back, because that comeback is where greatness is forged. Anyone can do what they enjoy. Anyone can show up when it feels exciting. But real growth, real power that comes when you do the task you hate, this is the dividing line. Ordinary people stop when the work feels boring. Extraordinary people keep going. Especially then, let's be honest, nobody wakes up thrilled to clean the kitchen. Nobody feels a rush of joy filling out spreadsheets. Nobody loves the painful last reps in the gym. But those moments matter more than the easy ones. Why? Because every time you do what you dislike, you prove something to yourself. You prove that your emotions don't run your life. You prove that your commitments mean more than your mood. You prove that discipline beats preference. Think of a marathon runner. The glory isn't in the first mile. The glory is in mile 20, when every muscle is screaming, and they keep moving anyway. Think of a student. The easy part is listening in class. The hard part is studying at midnight when everyone else is asleep. That's when mastery is built. Think of an entrepreneur. The fun part is dreaming big. The hard part is making cold calls, facing rejection, and still pushing forward. That's where businesses are born. Doing what you hate doesn't just finish a task. It reshapes your identity. You stop being a slave to your feelings. You become the kind of person who moves forward no matter what. That is a rare kind of freedom. Here's the trap most people fall into. They wait for motivation. They wait to feel like it. But motivation is unreliable. Feelings are temporary. If you only act when you feel good, you'll stay stuck forever, because your mind will always find a reason to avoid the hard work. Discipline means this: you do it anyway, even tired, even bored, even frustrated. And the moment you do, something powerful happens. You discover that dislike does not equal defeat. You can dislike the process and still dominate it. That realization changes everything, because suddenly, nothing can stop you. You don't need to enjoy the gym. You just need to go. You don't need to love the task. You just need to finish it. You separate action from emotion, and once you do, your potential explodes. Let's get practical. Next time you face a task you dread, don't fight the feeling. Admit it. Say to yourself, I don't like this. Then add, but I'm doing it anyway. That simple shift puts you back in control. You're not pretending it feels good. You're not waiting to enjoy it. You're choosing discipline over comfort. And every time you repeat this, you stack a new identity, an identity built on strength. Imagine finishing a long day and still completing that last boring assignment. You feel tired, but you also feel unstoppable. Imagine doing the workout you dreaded. You'll finish. And you walk taller because you know you didn't fold. That pride doesn't come from fun tasks. It comes from hard ones. It comes from finishing what you didn't want to start. Napoleon Hill taught this truth: success demands sacrifice. And sometimes the sacrifice is your comfort, your preference, your mood. The question is simple. Will you let emotions decide your future, or will you lead yourself even when the task feels heavy? Winners choose the second path, always. They don't confuse dislike with weakness. They see dislike as training. They know that every hated task is a doorway. Behind it lies strength, clarity, and growth. So walk through it. You don't need to love the process. You just need to respect it. Respect the fact that hard tasks shape strong people. Respect the fact that finishing what you hate builds trust in yourself. Because when you trust yourself, everything changes. You stop needing outside validation. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You know that no matter what, you will show up. That confidence is priceless. And it's earned one hated task at a time. So here's your challenge. Pick one thing you've been avoiding. Something boring, something tedious, something you dislike. Do it today. Finish it. Then pay attention to how you feel afterward. You won't feel joy while doing it, but you will feel power when it's done. Quiet power, solid power, the kind that makes you walk taller. That is the reward, not the task itself, but the strength it builds inside you. And if you repeat this daily, you become unstoppable, because nothing can hold back a person who acts even when they don't feel like it. That's who you're becoming. Not someone who needs perfect moods, not someone who skips hard things, but someone who finishes always. Do the task even when you hate it, especially when you hate it, because that is how strength is born. Comfort is sneaky. It doesn't scream. It whispers. It shows up as 5 more minutes in bed. It shows up as you've done enough today. It shows up as take it easy. You deserve it. And the moment you listen, comfort takes the lead. One skip task becomes 2. One delay becomes a habit. And slowly, your edge fades. Comfort feels safe. Comfort feels sweet. But comfort kills growth. Think of a blade. Sharp when used, dull when left sitting. Your mind is the same. If you keep choosing comfort, you lose your sharpness. Strong people don't wait until comfort whispers louder. They shut it down fast, before it can grow roots, before it can steal momentum. Because once comfort is in control, progress is over. Let's make this real. You set your alarm for 6 a.m. Comfort says, stay in bed. If you listen once, the pattern begins. But if you shut it down immediately, you build strength. You plan to hit the gym. Comfort says, skip today. If you give in, tomorrow will be harder. But if you shut it down, you build momentum. You decide to finish your work. Comfort says, do it later. And later becomes never, unless you shut it down now. That is the battle, not against the world, against the voice of ease, against the lure of comfort. Napoleon Hill taught success demands sacrifice, and one of the biggest sacrifices you'll ever make is giving up the false reward of comfort. Comfort is cheap. It gives you a moment of relief and steals a lifetime of growth. The solution is simple. Don't negotiate. Don't argue. Act before comfort gets a chance to speak. When the alarm rings, get up. Don't think. Move. When it's time to work, start. Don't open the debate. Begin. When it's time to train, pick up the weight. Don't wait for energy. Just move. Quick action kills comfort. Speed protects discipline. If you wait even a few seconds, comfort finds the words, 5 more minutes. Just today, do it tomorrow. And if you listen, you fall. So act first. Shut it down before it grows. Think of it like a fire. Easy to put out when it's just a spark. Nearly impossible once it spreads. Comfort is the same. Kill it early, or it burns your progress. No, I'm not saying you should never rest. Rest is good. Rest is necessary. But there's a difference between planned rest and comfort stealing your promise. Rest is intentional. Comfort is sabotage. Planned rest recharges you. Comfort disguised as rest weakens you. You know the difference? The pull of comfort feels like this: avoidance, delay, excuses. The truth feels like this: growth, effort, forward motion. You must choose truth over comfort. The strongest people you admire: athletes, leaders, visionaries. Don't live in comfort. They live in structure. They protect their time. They act even when it's hard. That's why they rise. Comfort has a cost. Every time you let it lead, you teach your brain that excuses win. And your brain remembers. It repeats that pattern until it becomes identity. But here's the good news. Every time you shut comfort down, you teach your brain a new story. I act. I follow through. I keep my word. That becomes your identity. That becomes your edge. And that edge separates the successful from the stuck. So here's your challenge. Catch comfort early. The moment you hear it, don't think. Move. Don't open the door. Don't let it speak. Act first. Always. Because comfort only wins when you hesitate. And discipline only wins when you move fast. Shut it down before it takes the lead. That one choice, made daily, will change everything. You'll feel sharper. You'll feel stronger. You'll feel unstoppable. Because you'll know this truth. Comfort doesn't control me. I control me. And when you live like that, nothing can stop you. You don't lose because of failure. You don't fall behind because of one bad day. You fall behind when you let soft thoughts stay too long. What is soft thinking? It's the quiet voice that lowers your standards. The gentle excuse that sounds harmless. The whisper that says, take it easy. You've done enough. Nobody will notice. And that's exactly why it's dangerous. Because it doesn't sound wrong. It sounds reasonable. Skip the extra rep. Turn in the project tomorrow. You don't need to push that hard. On the surface, those thoughts look like kindness. In reality, they are poison. They are shortcuts. They are the seeds of weakness. One soft thought might not destroy you today, but repeated daily, it becomes identity, and identity shapes destiny. If you think soft, you live soft, and a soft life will never build strong results. So what's the solution? Catch the thought, interrupt it, replace it. Don't argue with it. Don't negotiate with it. Don't let it grow roots. The moment you hear, "I'll do it later," say, "No, I'll do it now." The moment you hear, "I'm too tired," say, "I'm not finished." The moment you hear, "I've done enough," say, "I'll do what I promised." This isn't being harsh. This is being disciplined. You cannot afford to let soft thoughts run free, because they always lead to regret. Think of an athlete. One extra rep can change the game. If they think that's enough, they never discover their true strength. Think of a student. One extra hour of study could be the difference between passing and failing. If they think, "I'll do it tomorrow," they never reach their potential. Think of a leader. One more call, one more bold move, one more step into discomfort could change everything. But soft thinking whispers, "Wait," and waiting kills momentum. The discipline is this: you must stay alert to your inner dialogue. Pay attention to what your mind is saying in the small moments, because that's where the battle is won or lost. You don't need to think perfectly. You just need to think honestly, and honesty means separating truth from comfort. Truth sounds like growth. Comfort sounds like retreat. The more you practice catching soft thoughts, the sharper you become. You begin to hear them earlier. You interrupt them faster. And soon, they lose their power. Here's a simple exercise. Next time you feel the urge to stop early, pause and name the thought. Say it out loud. This is comfort talking. That awareness alone is powerful, because once you see it, you can stop it. Then replace it with a stronger command, something clear, something firm, something that puts you back in charge. Soft thought, "I'll quit here." Strong command, "No, I finish what I start." Soft thought, "I deserve a break." Strong command, "I earn rest after the work is done." Soft thought, "Nobody will know." Strong command, "I will know. And my standard matters." These micro battles shape your future. Not the big, dramatic moments, the quiet ones, when nobody is watching. Most people lose there. They accept the whisper. They settle for less, and over time, that becomes who they are. But not you. You're training yourself to notice, to interrupt, to rise. And here's the beauty. You don't have to win perfectly. Some soft thoughts will slip through. That's human. But the more you practice, the faster you recover. The more you interrupt, the less they control you. Soon, you'll start to live sharper. You'll move with urgency. You'll act with higher standards. And people around you will notice. They'll say, "Why do you carry yourself differently?" The answer is simple. Because you no longer allow weakness to grow in your mind. That is strength, not muscles, not money. Strength is self-command. Strength is refusing to tolerate softness in thought or action. So catch the whisper. Interrupt it fast. Replace it with truth. Do this daily. Do this quietly. Do this relentlessly. And one day, without even realizing it, you'll notice the shift. Soft thinking doesn't tempt you anymore. You'll hear it and laugh, because it no longer has power over you. That's the kind of discipline that creates an unshakable life. That's the standard of greatness, and it begins the moment you say, "No more soft thinking, not today, not ever." Quitting doesn't usually show up as a big announcement. It shows up quietly. It shows up as doubt, as hesitation, as maybe this isn't for me. At first, it's just a whisper. But if you listen, it grows. And if it grows, it destroys everything: your progress, your momentum, your belief. That's why you must live as if quitting doesn't exist. Not today, not tomorrow, not under stress, not under pressure. You act like quitting is not an option. Why quitting is so dangerous? When you allow quitting into your mind, you give it power. You give yourself an escape route. And the moment you have an escape, your commitment weakens. Think about it. A soldier fights differently when he knows there's no retreat. A runner pushes harder when the finish line is the only option. A leader makes bolder moves when failure is not allowed to live in their thoughts. Quitting drains energy. Not because you stopped, but because you entertained the idea of stopping. Even thinking about it slows you down. It takes away clarity. It makes you weaker. The mindset of no exit. What happens when you remove quitting from the table? Your focus deepens. Your commitment grows. Your energy shifts. You no longer ask, "How long will this take?" You start asking, "How far can I go?" This mindset doesn't come from comfort. It's forged in fire. It's forged in the messy days. The days when nothing is working. The days when you're tired, frustrated, and tempted to walk away. That's where strength is born. When you tell yourself, "I continue, I don't quit." Real life proof. Think of Thomas Edison. He didn't fail 1,000 times. He learned 1,000 ways that didn't work. He never let quitting exist. That's why the light bulb was born. Think of athletes who reach greatness. They all had moments when walking away would have been easy, but they acted like quitting was not available. They ran one more lap. They lifted one more rep. They showed up one more day. That's the difference. Not talent, not luck, but a decision. I don't quit. How to eliminate quitting one. Decide once. Don't revisit. Make your commitment final. Not something you redecide every Monday. Not something you review after every setback. Decide once and shut the door. 2. Burn the bridge. Leave no escape. If you're building a business, act like there's no backup plan. If you're chasing a dream, act like it's the only path. That intensity creates results. 3. Prepare for resistance. Your emotions will scream for relief. Your body will beg to stop. Your mind will invent excuses. That's not a sign to quit. That's a sign you're in the right place. Resistance is proof of growth. 4. Shift your language. Stop saying, "I'll try." Start saying, "I will." Stop saying, "If it works out." Start saying, "Until it works out." Words matter. Words shape identity. The habit of continuation. When you act like quitting doesn't exist, something powerful happens. You stop wasting energy on indecision. You stop debating with yourself. You only move forward. Momentum builds. Progress compounds. Your confidence grows. Every time you continue when others would quit, you add another brick to your foundation. And one day, you look back and realize you've become unshakable. What if it gets hard? It will. Hardship is not a reason to quit. It's a reason to grow. When the weight feels heavy, push anyway. When the path feels long, walk anyway. When the doubt feels loud, move anyway. You don't avoid the storm, you go through it. And going through it builds power. Practical challenge. The next time quitting crosses your mind, do this. Stop. Take a breath. Say out loud, quitting is not an option. Then take one step forward, one call, one rep, one page, one action that proves you stay, because every time you reject quitting, you rewire your brain. You teach it. I finish. Y endure, I grow. The identity of the unstoppable. This is bigger than tasks. It's about who you are becoming. Most people live in cycles. Start strong. Quit early. Repeat. But you're not most people. You're choosing a new identity. An identity built on continuation, on resilience, on persistance. When people look at you, they'll see someone different, someone solid, someone dependable, someone who doesn't back down when life gets hard. That's rare, and that's powerful. The Hill principle. Napoleon Hill said it clearly. The person who makes a firm decision and sticks to it gets everything he goes after. Quitting is the opposite of definiteness. It's indecision, and indecision destroys. Definiteness of purpose means this: once you choose, you do not stop until the mission is complete. Final word. Quitting is easy. That's why most people do it. But easy never leads to greatness. So act like quitting does not exist. Remove it from your vocabulary. Erase it from your thoughts. Burn the bridge. From now on, the only direction is forward. Through the challenge, through the resistance, through the fear. You are not here to start and stop. You are here to finish. You are here to endure. You are here to rise. And you will, because quitting is not an option. Not for you. Not anymore. Anyone can begin, but only the strong finish. Starting is easy. It's exciting. It feels fresh, full of energy, full of promise. But when the excitement fades, when the grind shows up, when the work feels heavy, that's where character is revealed. Do you keep going, or do you quit halfway? Why finishing matters your life is not shaped by what you start. It's shaped by what you finish. A workout half done builds nothing. A book half written changes no lives. A dream half pursued creates only regret. Finishing gives the effort meaning. Completion turns action into transformation. Without finishing, all you have is wasted energy. Every time you abandon a task, you weaken trust in yourself. You tell your mind, my word doesn't matter. And once self-trust is broken, discipline crumbles. But every time you finish, you build confidence. You prove to yourself that your word is law, and that belief compounds into unstoppable strength. The brain's trick. Your brain loves to negotiate. It whispers, you've done enough. You can finish later. It's not urgent. And if you believe it, you train your brain to delay. You teach it that stopping early is acceptable. That's how people get stuck in cycles of almost fit, almost successful, almost free. But almost doesn't change your life. Finishing does. The discipline of completion finishing is not about perfection. It's about integrity. It's about doing what you said you would do, no matter how you feel. Feelings come and go. Commitments stay. You won't always feel motivated. You won't always feel strong. You won't always feel excited. But discipline means you finish anyway. Because the standard isn't how you feel. The standard is what you promised. Real life proof. Think of building a house. Would you stop after laying half the foundation? Would you walk away after building 3 walls? No. Because unfinished work serves no purpose. The same applies to your goals. Unfinished tasks hold no reward. Think of an athlete. If they quit 1 lap before the finish line, nobody claps. Nobody cares about almost. The medal goes to the one who finishes. Think of a student studying for weeks, but skipping the exam doesn't create results. It's the exam, the finish, that proves the effort. Life rewards completion, not attempts. How to build the finisher's mindset. 1. Set clear endpoints. Don't just start vaguely. Define what finished means. A page written, a workout completed, a call made. 2. Refuse midpoint negotiation. The middle always feels hardest. That's when the brain begs for relief. Catch that moment and remind yourself, I don't stop halfway. 3. Break into small wins. Big projects overwhelm. Divide them into smaller completions. Every finish builds momentum for the next. 4. Celebrate integrity, not emotion. Don't wait for excitement to feel good. Feel proud because you honored your word. The power of the last mile. The hardest part is often the last part. The last rep burns the most. The last page feels the heaviest. The last mile tests your will. And that's why it matters most. Because when you finish that last stretch, you unlock growth. Not just physical growth, mental strength, spiritual strength, identity strength. You start to believe, I am someone who finishes. That belief carries into everything you do. What finishing does for you? It builds self-respect. It strengthens identity. It creates momentum. It multiplies results. Finishing small things creates the capacity to finish big things. You finish the workout. And now you can finish the book. You finish the book. And now you can finish the business step by step. Completion becomes your natural state. The Hill principle, Napoleon Hill taught, the man who does more than he is paid for will soon be paid for more than he does. That's the essence of finishing. Go all the way, not halfway, not good enough, all the way, because the reward is never in the beginning. It's always at the finish line. Practical challenge. Think about one thing you've started but left incomplete. It could be small, a book on your desk, a workout you skipped, a project still waiting. Now commit, finish it. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for a perfect mood. Finish it because you said you would. And when you finish, notice how you feel. Tired, maybe, but also strong, proud, grounded, unstoppable. That feeling is worth everything. Final word. Most people live in cycles of almost finished, almost committed, almost successful. But not you. Not anymore. From now on, you finish what you start, no matter how you feel, no matter how long it takes, no matter what excuses appear. You finish because your word is power. You finish because your future depends on it. You finish because greatness demands completion. That is the standard. That is the mindset. And that is who you are becoming. Someone who doesn't just begin, but someone who finishes always. You've just learned how to take control of your mind, how to silence hesitation, how to crush comfort, how to finish what you start no matter how you feel. Most people will hear this and do nothing. They'll nod, they'll feel inspired, and tomorrow they'll go back to old habits. Don't be most people. Be the one who acts. Be the one who decides. Be the one who forces the brain to follow, not lead. Because here's the truth, your future is waiting. Your potential is waiting, and it won't wait forever. So take the step, do the hard thing, finish the work, build the strength. That's how success is created. Not in talk, not in wishes, but in action, relentless, daily, unshakable action. And if you're ready to keep building the strongest version of yourself, this is just the beginning. Subscribe now. Join the movement. Because every video here is another tool, another weapon, another breakthrough for your mind. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait for the right mood. The time is now. Decide, act, lead. And remember, you are not here to live small. You are here to grow, to rise, to win. This is your moment. Take it.